Hey you guys, welcome to the sleeper of my truck. I'm in the terminal, so my video keeps getting interrupted. Hopefully I'll be able to make it all the way through this time. And hopefully my camera will stay in focus. Please stay in focus. Oh my god. So anyways, I don't usually make political videos, but I do follow politics like fairly religiously. And I've been noticing certain people on the left making a certain talking point that I find to be ideologically inconsistent, and then when you really think about it, like Fox News-esque, which I really do not want my side to be spouting shitty arguments. Like, up your game. We have lots of good arguments. You don't need to make this one. So what argument or talking point am I talking about? Well, it goes like, since Trump is defunding the government, the TSA workers aren't getting paid, and since they're not getting paid, they're not showing up for work, and clearly this is horrible, just the worst thing to ever happen. The TSA protects us, and them not showing up to work is a national security threat. We can get blown up on a plane at any minute. The terrorists can just come into our country and kill us all and blow us up whenever they fucking want. So TSA is not on the job because Trump will not pay them. So, yeah, that's the argument. It's pretty ridiculous. I've heard it worded a couple different ways, and I try to kind of include that. There isn't much of a spectrum to it. The idea is that Trump doesn't pay the TSA doesn't show up to work, so the terrorist will come in and kill us all. This argument is fucking ridiculous, and the left used to be staunchly against the TSA. I remember that. Those were good days. Let's go back. Enough of this fucking nonsense. So, let me just say that if you work, you should get paid. I'm not saying that we shouldn't pay the TSA because what they're doing is immoral. They are pawns, sometimes very ill-behaved, abusive pawns, but pawns nonetheless. And we need to get rid of the policies that we have now. But that doesn't mean that we don't pay the TSA for the work that they've already done. I think that that's pretty clear. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about people. Anyways, let's talk about why their argument doesn't make sense. So, the TSA is completely useless, is what I'm about to argue. In 2015, according to a CNN article by Eric Bradnard and Rain Marsh, I'm sorry, I butchered those names. Are you ready for this? There was a test done to see how effective they were at catching contraband and, like harmful objects so we don't all get blown up or whatever, like they say. And they sent 70 items through the line that were banned. 70 banned items through the line. And the TSA only caught 67 of them. So, that's like beyond a failing grade. That's like an F- wouldn't come close enough to describing what a 67 out of 70 fail rate would be. It's easier to think of it as out of 70 items, they only caught 3. So clearly here in 2015, they were proven to be wildly ineffective. And then, well, you think that was a while ago, they've had time to improve, and, I'm sure we're all much safer now, and blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you. Okay. So this was in November 7th, 2017, as far as I could tell. Or was it 2018? You guys, I think it was 2018. Oh my god. Anyways, it was a ABC article, and they had a source, and basically the source was telling them about how the latest test on the TSA had gone, and the TSA missed 80% of the things that were sent through, and 80% is just a rough estimate. There were no specific numbers. Basically, the reporter were asking him, like, throwing out numbers and be like, oh, is this around right? Is this around right? Is this around right? And the reporter was like 80%, and the informant was like, yeah. And after this came out, the head of the TSA was like fired or whatever, let go. That's what I read anyway. And I don't know why, because obviously 20% is way better than the like 7% before. That's like a pretty considerable increase. And just imagine if you were found to be 20% effective at your job. How long you would be employed. So there's that. The TSA is ineffective, and just because they're not up everyone's ass as much as they usually are in theory doesn't mean that we're all going to get blown up and going to die, and this is a huge national security threat. TSA is ineffective. They always have been. It's so obvious that this is just security theater and not actually security, and we have the numbers to back that up over the years. So that's fucking ridiculous. You already sound like Fox News. Now, who exactly are you defending, and what principles are you abandoning in your glorification of the TSA? Well, you guys remember that article from like 2014? Fucking asshole. God, I really wish that I wasn't here. Anyways, you guys remember that article from 2014 where it was like a lady from the TSA. She was one of the higher ups. She had been there for a while too. And she talked to a reporter and told them about a bunch of abuses that were going on. This article was called Dear America, I Saw You Naked, and Yes, We're Laughing. Confessions of a TSA Agent. It was by Jason Edward Harrison, and it was published on January 30th, 2013. So, this article goes into, like, a lot of just, like, code words that they use up to sexualize female passengers. Her talking about how she felt it was unnecessary to fill up the crotches of kids. Why are we letting these government employees fill up the crotches of kids? Why? Is it really worth it? Is it really worth your fucking 3 out of 70 items caught? I'm pretty sure they'd still catch it if they weren't groping children. And, harassing grandmas and making you take off your belt and your shoes. And then molesting you. If, for whatever reason, they feel like they need to. Oh, and racial profiling. The article does talk about that as well. So, in this article, this lady is basically talking about, the TSA. She's admitting that the TSA sexually harasses people, is inappropriate towards children, racially profiles people, and the fourth thing that she really goes into is just how ridiculous the rules are. Like, She talks about how she was taking nail clippers away from pilots and how she just felt like so ridiculous for doing so, but that was her job, so she just kept doing it. And then, so now we have gone through 2 of the 3 points. They're ineffective and they have way too much power. And now to the 3rd point, they are completely unaccountable. So this article that talks about how they are completely unaccountable came out in July of 2018. So as far as I know, I could not find any update to this article. So the rules are still as they were discussed in the article. And the gist of it basically is that this woman was picked out of line by the TSA, harassed. She was taken to this room with 3 women agents who conducted a more thorough search, which I don't even want to fucking know what that entails. And she said that they destroyed some of her stuff and they were just being like shitty to her, which of course they were. Like, if you were just trying to go on your stupid flight and you got picked out by like 3 angry ladies tearing through your stuff, being mean to you, you know, you would be upset too. And supposedly she called them a bitch on her way out and supposedly brushed up against them with her bags, which, you know, if you're in this tiny little room, all these people are getting away, you just want to get your stuff and leave. Are you really going to be like, oh, sorry, excuse me? No. Get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from me. So don't be like, oh, she assaulted those people. No, she didn't. They need to be the fuck away from her. And so... and the noise continues. So basically, she took this to court, and the court ruled that they are technically not officers, or like they're government employees, but they're not like law enforcement officers, and therefore all the things that you could use to keep a law enforcement officer accountable for the things that they do not apply for the TSA. And like I said, this came out in July of 2018. And as far as I can tell, there has been no progress made on that front. So, stop acting like Fox News. We should pay the government employees, but we don't need the TSA. We need to ban them. Like, people have become too complacent because they've just been here for so fucking long. This isn't normal. We can't start acting like it's normal. Quit being a fucking moron. There's so many things to attack Trump on. So many things. This is not one of them. If the TSA doesn't show up to molest some grandmas and do their security theater, we all aren't gonna die. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Good night.